Chris Watkin here with Gavin, who is South Africa's leading real estate coach. He's in the UK now, working for Remax. Why do you think estate agents are so poor at prospecting? Talk to me.
Well, basically, Chris, it's that prospecting is something you have to do. You have to do consistently. You have to do it every day, and it has to be part of your operation. And at the end of the day, if you don't do those prospecting calls, the people you're supposed to phone are not going to phone you, say, Chris, I haven't heard from you in 6 months' time. So what happens is, number one, the agents almost detest and hate making those calls.
Why do they hate?
Because they don't know how to approach them. They always think that they have to beg for something. They always feel they have to sort of keep making sales pitches to these people. And that's absolutely not how it works.
In a previous video, we talked about the type of personality that's driven to estate agency, and it tends to be the I type on the disc profile, which is an influencer, so they're people orientated, they're outward going, and they hate rejection. Do you think it's because of a fear of rejection that people hate?
It's 100. They hate, number one, the fear of rejection. They hate the feeling of being pushy as an agent. Those are the two main reasons they hate it. But when you make a prospecting call, and it's a good call where you're phoning those people to keep in contact in terms of to have a really nice conversation, it's a lot easier.
What does that conversation look like? Let's have some free training off him.
All right. Well, first of all, if you were my seller, or if you were on my database, and I would be phoning you probably 3 times a year, I would probably be phoning you now after maybe I'd seen something, heard something. I'd always have a reason. Even if
this doesn't happen in the UK.
No, I know, but this is how agents work worldwide. It's all about relationship. And this is how we get our business. So I coach agents on how to make these calls. It has to be a nice call. It has to be, oh, I see your son has just graduated from university. I'm just phoning to say you must be so proud of him. How things going? How's business?
That's all American. That's what the Americans do.
Yeah.
That's what the Australians and the South Africans
It's like
do.
a German car. Do the wheels turn in South Africa or in America with German cars? Well, all the same. These are systems. These are basic systems.
But you won't get Britons doing this.
I will, because in Remax they're starting to do this now. They're starting to understand that it's about building relationships and it's about making contact in a really nice way with your customers to keep that thread going.
But the lack of patience, especially these youngsters, these millennials.
Well, you know what? They all have their own way of doing it. We have a thread of send something out, follow it up with a phone call, maybe drop off a little something like a little gift or a handout, and try and see them once a year. If you can maintain that thread of contact.
Next you're going to tell me birthday cards.
Yeah, of course. Of course, that's all part of it, Chris. That's part of it. That's how real estate agents worldwide keep in touch with agents.
Do you think there's a direct relationship to why we're one of the world's lowest fees when it comes to what we get out of the transaction?
Well, you said that 12% of people go back to the estate agents they deal with. That is fundamentally the reason. Because once you've dealt with them, you drop them like a hot coal and you don't ever keep in contact with them again. So why would they come back to you?
I mean, I'm looking for a house at the moment, and I've been dropped off the mailing list, and I have nothing to sell.
Exactly. So
God help you if you're gone out the other side.
The key today is if an agent has a database of 100 people, and they just keep in contact with that 100 people.
Because they've got. I mean, every agent's got. Why do negotiators put people in the archive, the mailing list after like 2 nanoseconds? Because you've got the database there, haven't you?
Yeah.
What? You tell people just pick the phone up and say hello.
Yeah.
What? And even say, I noticed that there's one just come on the market, even with a competitor around the corner.
You know what? It's not just to sell them something; it's to keep in contact. And when you have that conversation with them,
what does that conversation look like?
Something comes out.
But what does that conversation mean?
Hello,
it's Chris from Chris Estate Agents.
Yeah,
hello.
And it's, you know what? I've got this couple. They're looking for a unit in your complex. The husband's a civil engineer, the wife's a high care nurse. They're desperate for a unit. Do you know anyone who may be thinking of selling?
So you're not actually asking them.
Come on. We can't be like vultures waiting on the post to fly down and pick up that meat.
Like that.
We've got to do things where we're helping people all the time.
So you're
and it's
posting the
gotta
phone
be
call.
genuine.
The phone call is, do you know anyone on your street or
all
your
sorts of
block?
strategies like that. Yeah.
And it's all in this book, which we're not giving a plug to, which is only available in South Africa, but we're going to get some copies over.
Our offices in the UK have it as well.
Yeah, well,
yes.
we just get your finger out. There you go.
I brought some over with me.
Good.
for
I'll
them.
tell you what, you best get another ship container load. The amount of people watch these videos, we beat them off your sticks. Is there any other tips you'd give for prospecting?
Yeah, the thing is, with prospecting calls, and the coaching I do gets down to prospecting calls. If you can make 2 a day, 4 days a week, but you have to set a time. You have to pitch up for that time. In other words, you have to have it in your diary. It's an appointment you make with yourself.
What gets scheduled gets done.
And then you've got to make sure that there's a list of names and numbers that you need to phone. Because if you don't have that, you're not going to pitch up for that appointment. You're not going to make those calls. So basically, if you can do that, top producers worldwide today are making those calls. I measure those calls. When I coach people, I say, right, how many calls did you do last week? They say 10. What did you get out of it? Well, I got 2 listings. What is the value of that listing? And when we work out the value of that listing and what they earn per call, they are blown away. They are blown away. And that's how I get them to make the calls. I get them to understand what this is all about.
Guys, I'm not being paid to say this, but quite frankly, if there's a reason that you should start a self-employed agency, it's all about the value that the centre, the boss people can bring to you. And if you're getting trainers like this man here, then you should seriously check out Remix. They're not being paid a penny to say that. And I do love others, and I will go on record to say I love them all. But honestly, I've been blown away by this guy. Check these guys out. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.